Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sounder. The Sounder created out of the ladies, the Sounder of Lady Hoggers. My name, my name is Molly from the Copper Pity Farm, and as always, I am here with my beautiful friends. Say hello, friends.
Hello, friends. I
Got
am. Go
we
ahead,
got
Mom.
Amanda over there looking like a damn model.
I know, and I'm like, my eyebrows look awful. I'm gonna have to get that stencil and do that thing because she's definitely rocking it hard today.
No,
So,
the lighting. It is literally just the lighting.
wow. Okay, that's the secret. I should get new lights. All right, is this where I jump in?
Go ahead.
Hey y'all, I'm Laura Jensen. The Pig Nerd is where you can see all the things I do. It's been a crazy week as always. I'll start. I can see the retail store from here. That's what I'm looking at, from the house to the barn. It got crazy last week. Definitely went off the rails. We had a lot of upheaval, and I had to make some tough decisions. And so we're pulling that back around and together. One of those growing pain things that I'm not wild about, but it happens. In the pig world, I have a lot of interest in Mason pigs, and I won't have litters on the ground. There was a miscalculation on that, so as happens sometimes. So they'll be on the ground in February. AMBA is doing fantastic. Lots of interest since we did Pig 1000. And then took off for a few days and went and visited my son and family and my grandbabies, where I may not be Meemaw anymore. The kids are still deciding, and they're like, "What do you want to be called? Are you a granny or what are you?" I was like, "I don't care. Just call me. Just whatever they want to call me. Y'all pick. I'm good with it." Um,
Yeah.
and I'm just kind of prepping for the year. I've got my calendars up. I'm trying to get organized and actually develop a marketing plan ahead of it's Tuesday. What are we doing this week? So that's kind of my life right now. How about you, Amanda?
Well, I am Amanda Buck with Buck Family Ranch, and we, you may remember last time we talked, we were getting ready for our planning and zoning meeting. Um, we had that last week, and it went really, really well. They really listened to what we were requesting. They heard us. They understood why we were asking for a rezone, and fortunately they decided that they wanted to just go ahead and vote on it, and it was unanimous. They approved it.
Oh,
So
it gives me chills. That's great
yeah,
on so many levels.
it
So
was.
you got so it's like the new home glow instead of the
Yeah,
new mom glow.
yeah, maybe so. Maybe
Yeah,
that's what.
but yeah, that tells me the community loves you too, though. You know that you didn't have to get pushed out. That they're like, "Go Buck Family Ranch."
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
They don't
it
care. They don't care that her kids have worms.
Oh my God.
not been proven,
Yeah.
but um yeah, so they went ahead, they approved us. So what that means for us now is we've gone ahead and contacted the company that did our survey for us, and we are working on getting them out here to stake off an acre, so that we can go ahead and get ready to build. We'll have to do an amendment with the title company too. And then that will tell the bank basically that we own an acre free and clear, we can build, and we will be good to go on that. So it's definitely been a fiasco, but I feel like I'm not even going to say that we can see the light at the end of the tunnel, because this is just the beginning.
Mhm.
But I do feel like we're making progress. We're moving in the right direction. So that's all good. So we've had that going on. Other than that, I don't know, today winter has finally arrived. My lights just went off. I'm hanging out my car because it's quieter in my car than it is in my camper. Um, Winter has finally arrived. I was telling the girls, telling you ladies yesterday that we were at -18, and it's chilly. We've got snow now, and we are getting more snow today and tomorrow. And so, yeah, we're doing all the winter things, trying to keep warm, keep animals warm and happy. And that is where we are. So that's about what we've got going on. What about you, Molly?
Oh, I just got randomness as always, you know. So like the weather has been so bad at my place. And I have like, I mean, even a freaking little bitty cloud makes my service go away. So I went from no power to no service. My place is so disgusting from the rain.
Ugh.
Oh my God. It's so bad because, like, if you know where I live, I'm in between like two ridges. And so all that water comes up out of the mountain and rolls down.
Oof.
And it is god awful down here.
Yeah, you're getting the same rain we're getting in Georgia right now, right? There's 3 or 4 inches, and
Yes.
there was a tornado down at Halls, where Bill works. So yeah, crazy.
Yeah, we were supposed to have gotten, well, I got like 3 inches of snow here the other day.
Ooh.
And then that, you know, that melted off and it was disgusting. And then it was supposed to had snowed, but 2 to 3 inches of rain with 60-mile-per-hour winds today.
Mm.
As of right now, there has not been any snow or like 60-mile-per-hour winds, but there is just rain coming down.
Wow. I have a random thought since it's thundering here. Y'all ever heard of thunder snow? That prediction, that old wives' tale? 2 weeks?
Yes.
That means here in
Yes.
Georgia we should have snow in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Hope
Yeah.
not.
It's so, the weather is just so crazy because, like, you know, it's only snowed here, I think, like a real snow twice. So for 2 out of the 6 years that I've lived here. But like it's just the rain, man. The rain is what just makes it so disgusting.
Yeah, the mud just never goes away. That it's an awful season. I don't like this part of farming.
No.
No, and I got that nasty, slick, thick clay mud.
Oh yeah, that red clay stuff. Yeah, that'll throw you down.
Oh, oh,
Hmm.
it's so. I mean, it's as slick as ice.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you got your piglets out of there. Didn't you say that most of your piglets are gone right now?
Yeah, most of my piglets are gone, and then you know I got the other ones that I'm keeping back to
Hmm.
grow out for myself.
Hmm.
But I do got litters, you know, that are supposed to be hitting the ground coming the end of the month, beginning of February. So I'm having 17 litters this spring.
Whoa, 17 in the spring. You go, girl.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what I've done.
You're gonna look like our cartoon that you drew.
Yeah. Yeah. I got 17 litters and I'm just like, I don't know. You know, I got a bunch, a substantial amount going down to North Carolina. So, you know, they're going to be gone, but at the same time, you know, that's a lot of mommies, and you know, I just
Hmm.
got to the point. I just got to the point where I went back to how I began,
Hmm.
and I'm letting them just farrow where they want, when they want, how they want, and you know, because it's too hard on me to move back and forth from stall to barn, and
Yeah.
I can't do all that. So and they do better just doing it on their own where they want to.
Does that mean that most of your stock is going to like these bulk orders that you have, and that it's not so much about the registered things and whose piglets are whose, or is that part of it still too?
This will be the first year that I will register no stock.
Mm,
I will sell no breeding stock.
wow, that's big.
All my stock is either going to go to feeder orders
Hmm.
or they're going to be growed out by my for me.
Okay, but I think that works with your model and the direction you're going. So
Yeah,
yeah.
my direction I'm going is not, you know, I I look at it weird. You know, I was on the board. I know I'm getting a little off track, but I was on the board of the RWHA, and you know, me and you, Laura, would have spoke about this on a lot of occasions,
Hmm.
and you know, pushing for the preservation of the breed and registering this stock.
Hmm.
And you know, at the end of the day, I left the board, but at the end of the day, I'm doing my own way, my own thing that I want to for the breed.
Yeah.
And that's not through breeding stock, that's through meat, and that's what I'm heading towards.
Yeah. I think it's a good plan, obviously I should say everybody should register everything, but that's not realistic. That's not smart business. That's not what's right for every farm. So actually I love the thought that you're owning what it is and being honest about what you're doing and just saying, I'm gonna let them do what they do and I'm gonna just sell them as feeders and meat and life's gonna be good for me. That's good.
Yep, yep. I run a majority unregistered herd. And
Mhm.
that's kind of taboo in the world that we do, but
Right.
I
Yeah.
could prove what my hogs are. And at
Right.
the end of the
Exactly.
day, yeah, and at the end of the day, I have good hogs and it is what it is. And people know that, and I sell feeder pigs. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's great.
On
Yeah.
that movie Bridesmaids, when the one lady is like coming back with a gazillion puppies and she's like, I may have overcommitted. She's got like
Yeah.
all dogs. That's Molly, but with piglets. I may
Oh
have
yeah. I may have overcommitted. Yeah, and I may have, but at the end of the day, I mean, I'll get them gone at some point or some way.
You will. You will. You've got the brand and reputation that you've built on your name that you'll be just fine.
Oh, and in the past 2 weeks, I have gotten so many contacts,
Mhm.
wanting red wattle piglets.
That's great.
So, it's good. I was kind of nervous because went through a phase. I went through all that where I moved and then I came back and then I went incognito. I went MIA for what was going on in my life. So I was
Yeah.
kind of nervous on getting back into it. You know, but people have really been committed to me, and that has helped me.
Yeah. I talked to my son a lot about what we do in the podcast. He's a huge supporter and podcast listener in general. And he says that, we're just so authentic and that's what attracts him. And I think a lot of people to us. And I think you are that, Molly. You are at face value what you always are. And there's a beauty in that.
Yep, yep. I went to the gas station. I go to the same gas station every day, and I went yesterday, and one of the ladies there bought me a shirt, and she gave me a T-shirt,
Uh-huh.
and she told me she's like Molly, she's like I've never really like been interested in farming. She's like you're so real with everything you do. She's like
Yes.
she's like it's what is most attractive. And
Hmm.
so that made me feel good. And I think here lately, sharing my struggles, has really helped me connect with people as well, to where they don't feel like they're kind of alone in their feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. I see that a lot in my side of farming too. I'm glad that
Yeah.
we can be kind of real about what it is. And Amanda, I know you're right there with us too. The good, the bad, and the
Oh
ugly.
yeah.
The joke me and my husband have, they call it livestock because you learn sooner or later it's one of two things. It's live or dead.
Yep. Yep.
yeah.
And that's just, one of those things. But anyhow, I know we kind of went off on a tangent there. So I know it's cold and rainy and icky where y'all are. So what are we gonna talk about today?
Well, I mean, we got to talk about it. We got to talk about the reel that is going around out of Paris, man.
We're getting international today with where our story's coming from.
We are. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I saw the reel and I was like, this has to be, although it's very, what is going on is insane, but it's some
Yeah.
of the coolest shit that I have seen. And when we talk about community, we preach about community
Oh
all day
yeah.
long.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a fucking community.
And you're so right. And I'm watching the reel right now, and we will get this posted to our social media, the Sounder social media, so y'all see what we're talking about. But it's some would say it's farmers gone wrong, but I think Molly, you're right. It's really the community standing up for each other.
It is. So, if for people who don't know, there were protests going on in France and in Germany.
Yep.
And everything that's going on in France and Germany is aspects and issues that we are facing here in the United States as well. It's about the heightened prices, the incentives being taken away, the more importing and no exporting, all this stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Essentially, they're putting the squeeze on the farmers. I was researching it this morning. Euro News kind of summed it up well on December 18th of last year. And effectively, they have pushed diesel equipment onto farms so that they can produce what the country needs. And it's these big, heavy tractors that you see plowing through all this stuff and dumping literally shit on the courthouse steps with their big diesel equipment, because now the government says we're not going to give you a subsidy and help you with this diesel equipment anymore.
Yep.
And there's something else they're taking away. I think it's just, it was the farm vehicle
Yep.
break. They're taking that away too. So one farmer spoke very well on this page about it, saying that, farmers are they're some of the first people to feel inflation, that they're going to be the ones that, is everything. Now they're saying everything's gone up 17%. I think it's probably
Yep.
more, but maybe that's an average. So these farmers have that inflation because Germany and France is in the same boat as America with that. So you've got inflation, and then you're taking away their tax breaks in a couple key areas and how they produce their products. And it's as if the government has forgotten how the people eat. And at the end of the day, all these farms, us included, we're all a small business. And there's a lot of small businesses that they just can't take that kind of increase without increase on the other end, which never seems to happen for a farmer. So it's the electric vehicle thing is where they're trying to go. It's the control of government. It's the food supply. There's so much going on here.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's interesting what you just said there, Laura, too, about how, the farmers kind of have to eat the inflation, but then they don't really like see it on the other end.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, when we talked in our episode about the food monopoly and kind of how the US food system works, I would assume it's this way in other countries too, where there are agencies, whether it's government, whether it's these big companies that the government is involved with, they are regulating what the farmer gets paid. So
Yep.
that you hit it spot on in saying that the farmers are taking all these things, they're taking blow after blow after blow, and no small business can sustain that way. It cannot work. It is destined to fail.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it is a system. It's a system of the breakdown of the farmer. It truly is.
Yeah.
Even as a small farmer, we see the impact because we don't have the money to back.
Right.
But even on a larger scale, you're seeing an impact as well. You're pushed to meet these quotas, but you're not, like you said, you're not getting it on the back end. Look at the chicken farmers and all them. That what happened with Tyson and all that. Them farmers that had all them chickens, and lost out on everything.
Mm-hmm.
We are getting hit so hard on multiple levels, but you cannot not think that it is designed to fail for you.
I think we as humans, I think there's a part in all of us and every one of these farmers that block the roads and the courthouses and use their equipment to make an impact. I think you can say all of us believe in a different system and we believe in a different way and we want it different, but it goes on to say in this article that one of the government spokesperson says, well, if you don't like this, come up with another plan. How are they supposed to do that? They're not privy to that number. They're not privy to that. Why did they put the farmer to do that? I mean, it's
because they know that we can't.
I think it's more than that, tinfoil tiara to put on,
yeah.
Back to control and all that stuff too. But
it is.
In my world and after traveling, I love my little world. Love my people, but I love my world. When y'all started telling me that when I was on the road, my first gut reaction, it's over there. I mean, I'll look at it, but it's over there. But it's really only a matter of time before it's that here.
Yeah.
It's going there. Look at the electric vehicles and all that craziness. So
yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think when we see things like this, it really is just a matter of time. And it may not be, US farmers may react differently. But it really is just a matter of time. And I think that as small farmers, and here with our podcast, it's, before we got on here, we were talking about, well, what can we do? What is a solution? What can we do about this? And I think that as a small farmer, we have to think about it a little bit differently than maybe a big farmer would, because large production farms, they do receive government subsidies and all these different things. They are going to be impacted in a different way than what small farmers are. So I feel like for us, it's just kind of, how do we get our ducks in a row to kind of brace for this and then be able to weather the storm? Like, what kinds of things do we do to kind of get ready for this? Because I think we've got so many things looming right now. And I know I don't want to talk about doom and gloom type stuff, but I do think that we have a lot of things looming over us right now. There's a lot of uncertainty with the direction things are going. And even with some of the things that we have talked about, I mean,
Yeah.
we've talked about some pretty big, scary, and all of those things have an impact on farmers. So what do we do? What are our next steps?
Yeah. Well, I think we preach it all the time, community support, but in times, when things are hard is when people fall to God and fall to each other, right? They look for embrace.
Yeah.
And I think that that's one of the hardest things for us too as well, is we wait until the times are hard to start coming up with a plan, instead of actually trying to fight the keep it together and fight the battle and do everything, all year, every day. A lot of us wait until it's too late.
Yeah, and I think you're right on the whole, but I have to smile because the warrior in me, I'm already
Yeah.
fighting. I mean, I am, and you are, and you are too, Molly. I mean, really, we're already fighting it, and you're not wrong about God and community, because I think we need that regardless. But it's the old adage of you fight fire with fire. I'm going as hard and fast as I can, because the bigger our segment can get, the more voice we have and the more power we have and the more control we have over our future. I mean, you look at it politically or not, but the bigger gorilla we are sitting on the corner of the block, the better chance we have of weathering it all.
Oh, yes. But here's my thing is, do you honestly think that something like what they did in France and Germany, do you think that we would do that in the United States?
Which part? The government or the tractor part? Which side?
The protest part. Do you think that we would gather together, spray fucking shit all over the government, pour manure on the stairs? Do you think that we would do that in the United States? And be honest.
Go, Amanda.
I think I would love to think that US farmers would do that, but I will be quite honest, and this is going to sound like I'm throwing people under the bus, but I don't think that a lot of Americans have the balls to do that.
It's exactly where I'm going, and I hate to be this way, and we may want to cut this out of the book.
Nope, it's got to stay.
But I think you have to look at all the things that have happened. You go back into the day, right? You go to segregation, you go to feminist rights, you go to all these things. They were huge movements, but look at all the tragedy that come out of it, the police brutality. You look at all this stuff that happened, right? It makes me wonder if we would, us as farmers, or anybody, if we would do that. I don't know, because of the repercussions.
Well, so two thoughts on that. I think that is likely coming in some form with the amount of conflict that's in America. I think that
Yes.
some sort of uprising is likely inevitable.
Yes.
Then you can go back to the founding of our country, where
Yep.
there probably just as many people that wanted to not become America as did, and it was a small group of passionate people that was able to start what we know as America.
Yeah,
So I mean, I don't know. It'll be exciting to watch and be a part of it because I mean, I'm not going anywhere. I know y'all aren't either.
yeah,
So I'm gonna go with hard to say. I don't disagree. If it happened right now today, I don't know. But the where my brain goes beyond that is okay, so they don't protest. When the grocery store shelves start becoming bare, then what happens?
yes, exactly. But another thing that I looked at too, when you watch these videos, right? Did you see the chaos that you see here in the United States over just little small protests?
No, I thought that it seemed very I mean, yes, they were being destructive. They're getting their point across, but I did not see, and granted, we're only going to see a small clip. We're not going to
Exactly.
see, the big picture. But I feel like, I mean, I can go back to protests that we had recently, with Black Lives Matter and all of that kind of stuff. And the destruction that came out of that, I don't know that it made the impact that they that group was going for.
Yeah.
um because mainly what you saw was mass destruction, rioting,
Yeah.
you know places being burned, stores being looted, all these kinds of things, instead of really getting the message across.
Yeah.
Whereas there, in looking at those videos, I don't see, it does not look like people being hurt. It doesn't look like, I mean, yes, they're spraying manure all over the place and throwing these papers from the government back at them with their combines. But um, I don't know. It's, you're not seeing people being hurt. So I don't know. I'd be interested to see what their protest there is like in real life,
Yeah.
to compare
Yeah.
it to what, protests we have here. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. And I kind of can be getting off, taking a left. But I just thought that seeing how that went down, and to me, how beautiful it was, you know, to see thousands and thousands of tractors together and everybody, but it wasn't as crazy, brutality, chaotic as what we have seen, you know what I mean, here. And so
Yeah.
I just wondered, what I just saw the difference, and it really struck me in a different type of way to kind of grasp if we were to do something like that, how would it turn out? You know, I mean, we
Yeah.
don't know, but
Yeah, that's interesting. I really hadn't thought about it from that perspective, and I guess that really was an uprising with the BLM stuff. I didn't really think about it in terms of ag and country, and I don't really think I want to go there with the podcast. No offense taken
Right.
here by any means, but that's just a whole different set of emotions there.
yeah, yeah. Oh no, it is a whole different set of emotions. And but it just made me wonder because like so much we do things from the way we do our food, from the way we run our country, everything is so different, compared to everywhere else.
Hmm.
And I feel like in a time that we are in now, so many other countries have it way worse. I mean, they do have it way worse.
Hmm.
But in a time that we are now, it just makes me wonder what would actually happen because there are more angry, lost, miserable people now,
Hmm.
because we are striving for a
Yeah.
change on so many levels.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think, because we are in that place where we're just looking for change, I think of it in terms of like an individual. I know when I was in my former life, when I was a hairstylist, I would have people come in and they would want something drastically different. And it would be like, whoa, 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 whoa. what's going on in your life? Like, let's talk about that first, and then we'll decide whether you're just getting a trim or whether I'm shaving your head, because you are just so desperate for a change right now that you're willing to do whatever. And so I think that you're right. We are just in this place, you know, just like I mentioned earlier, there's so many things that are uncertain. There's inflation, there's seeing what's going on globally. And then just things here. We're in an election year and things are crazy. So, um, yeah, I think that there are a lot of people desperate for change. And I just want to really quickly, Laura, when you mentioned that about the BLM thing, I just want to come out and say, like, I'm not saying I am pro or against it. I was just mentioning that. I hope I didn't ruffle any feathers. That was not my intent.
Not with me. I just, as always, your words bring food for thought that I hadn't really thought of that perspective for me. So it is really interesting to include the social side of the world in all this too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
well, at the end of the day, everything is connected. You know,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
can always connect something to, something. And I think that seeing what is going on over there, I mean, although we are farmers, we're in agriculture, and so it resonated with me on that level, to start off with, but it also resonated with me on so many levels because we are in a time where we are desperate. We're desperate. People cannot afford to live. The
No,
the rich are thriving. It's rich or poor. It's hard to have a middle class right now.
it
yeah.
is. It is. And as you know, as the 17% inflation number comes in, the average pay increase was 15% on
Yep.
average. So
Yeah.
so it
Yeah,
is that lower income people always pay the price. And I feel like we're middle class and it just keeps getting harder and harder.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
but
if you not only look at inflation, but if you look at people's property taxes and things like that, I'm part of quite a few homesteading groups and things on Facebook, and just to see the number of people saying that they can't afford to live where they're living anymore because of property taxes and they need to move and they're considering this, these few states, and it's like it's no better there. It's
Mhm.
everywhere. The cost of living is so high. If they're not going to get you in the stores, they're going to get you somewhere else, and
yeah.
it's just crazy.
Wow.
Well,
So here you go, two roads. What's going to happen? What happens there?
Yeah.
yeah. And looking at taking it back just a bit, looking at the issues that they're talking about, one of the issues there is the electric farm vehicles. After you've already, we've already been pushed to these other diesel big equipment. We've been pushed to this, and now we're going to change all that, and we're going to go to electric. Okay, look at the issues that we have with our electric already in the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot.
I mean, people can't even afford to keep their fucking lights on in their house anymore.
Well, and there's no infrastructure. I mean, that's the big glaring.
It's a shutdown.
Do you hear what you're buying into?
Yeah.
Unless you live in the city and you're making short trips, electric has no use, in my opinion. I mean, you can't, I can't come see you, Amanda or Molly. I can't even come see you, Molly, because I can't get enough charge on my car to get there. And damn
Well,
sure not come back. So, I mean, there's a big die here that nobody talks about.
well, you look at it. You got a huge ass tractor that's electric.
Hmm.
There are people with ranches out there where Amanda stuff is thousands of acres.
Hmm.
Yes.
Okay, if you got thousands of acres, you can pull you out a fuel truck and fuel your fucking tractor
And keep going.
and keep on her trucking. How
Hmm.
the fuck are you going to charge your tractor in the middle of nowhere?
Oh, it's okay. Elon Musk is working on a tractor trailer that'll be electric. He's working on it. So it'll be okay. Again, how
You
do
know,
we eat? How do we keep eating?
Well, it's interesting because Kellen, my husband, it's been several months ago now, but he was watching this thing and I can't remember what kind of equipment it was. I want to say it was a type of tractor. Um, that somebody was using and wound up needing to charge. And do you know that they plugged it into a generator that was gas or diesel powered?
We love
Yes.
seeing those on the side of the road, the electric vehicle, whatever recovery units with their big
Yeah,
diesel generator.
yeah. Like, okay, that makes sense. Come on.
But
Yeah, yeah,
but here's the thing is people bought into it.
they sure
Yeah.
did. They sure did. And I guess on the hybrid side, I can see a little value in it. But my husband watches the news 24/7, and he said, wow, he said, for the first time I saw a news story about how unpractical the electric vehicle is and the realities of it. And the only way you can really make it work on a trip, if it doesn't get too cold, because that affects charging, you have to take your trips based on the Tesla charging stations so that you can try to get enough charge to make a trip.
It is some of the dumbest shit. I swear to God.
You gotta wonder. I mean, we're largely, what is it? We're the feral generation, Gen Xers. I think y'all are probably on the end of it. We'd have never survived like this. And I don't know what's going on. I mean,
No.
wow. There's
Well, I know
just, yeah.
when we were living in North Carolina, I feel like we would see electric vehicles quite often. I mean, we
Uh-huh.
would see all over the place. I can probably, in the year and a half that we've been here, I can probably count on one hand the number of electric vehicles that we have seen, because we do have the cold,
Mhm.
um, and everything is a drive away. Nothing is super close and convenient. So I know I've mentioned before, to drive 2, 3, 4 hours one way to pick something up is not unrealistic. Like
Mhm.
that's pretty standard. So I just don't see how that can even be possible. I mean, I think about, just like Molly mentioned, you've got the flyover states where you've got all kinds of farming that goes on. And I mean, it's thousands and thousands and thousands of acres. You can't just have random charge stations all over out there. It makes no sense. And I don't know, not only that, but like you mentioned, Laura, the infrastructure set up for it. We already have issues when it's too hot or too cold, where they recommend, adjusting your thermostats or being careful with your electrical usage because the grid can't handle it. So what are we
Mhm.
going to do? Everybody's plugging their cars in too, or
Right.
their cars, or I mean, obviously larger pieces of equipment are going to draw more charge than something small, right?
Well, y'all are going to make me throw another conspiracy theory out there.
Oh, I've already got it.
Okay. What do you think it is?
They want us all to be dependent on the grid so that when the grid goes down, we're screwed. That's mine.
It could be that. I'm not discounting that. But what about the theory that there is no shortage of oil? That it's all made up as marketing so that the rich get richer and those families that own oil always have all the demand and they control us how they want. How about that? No shortage of oil. I mean, we've been taught that our whole life.
Yeah. Well,
Crazy thought.
I think there's that too.
What about you, Molly? What do you think?
Did I? Well, I go back to kind of both of them, but I mean, Kim, my mom has been preaching this since the fucking those books came out. What were they? It went through like Revelation. What was those books called?
I
And
want,
it was
I want to say Firefox, but I don't think that's what you're talking about.
no, there was like these books that came out, and it was basically the end of the world, and all this Revelation stuff was happening. God, they're biblical. Anyways, doesn't matter. Kim has been preaching since that day, and there's a book that came out, and she gave it to me. Obviously, I didn't read it, but whatever. So it was about the failure of our power grid and how that is what is planned and what is designed. It is the failure of the power grid to put us all under because we cannot go without it. And
Yeah.
she's been preaching since that book come out, and that was like, I don't know how many years and years ago. So I've always had that implanted in my brain, that it is is it an EDM or something like that to shut it all
EMP.
down?
EMP.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And that could happen from the sun at any given moment. The sun could spit that out and it would have nothing to do with government conspiracy, and everything that's not in a Faraday cage
Okay.
is dead.
Okay. But then you talk about the sun, and then you go to what was it? The blocking of the sun and everything. So for global warming and all this shit. You know what I mean?
Like how they were doing all the chemtrails and like seeding the clouds and like trying to do all this stuff to block sunlight.
Yes. Yes.
This is like James Bond evil superhero shit. Wow.
You know, the thing is though, is like now that we've seen so many things happening, so many protests happening, but when you see this with the agriculture and you see everything going on, you start really thinking about our food system. You start thinking about the electrical grid. You start thinking about all these things now. And for me, those videos of the protests of what's going on in Germany and France, it really made my brain explode with all the conspiracies. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's about control at the end of the day. There's more going on there. Why on God's green earth would people choose to put farmers out of business? I mean, they like to eat, right? So there has to be something bigger than being true and good humans here. It just has
Yeah.
to
Oh my
be.
God. It makes me wonder because so much is being taken out of our country. You go to the store, everything you see, even American flags are made in China. You know what I mean? Like, you see so many things. It is hard. It is so sad that it is so hard to find anything that's made in the US.
Well, when you do, it's so expensive because we've made it so hard for American businesses to make things American made.
Yeah. You know, I was looking for a pair of boots. I needed a pair of boots. You know how hard it is to find a pair of boots made in the US?
No.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Like, we got all these cowboys and these ranchers, and I can't even get a pair of boots made in the damn US. And if I do get a pair of boots made in the US, I'm wearing like $2,000 on my feet.
Wow.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's
I
what I'm
haven't
saying.
bought boots in a long time. I guess I should look.
Well, I will tell you for sure, as Molly has stated, the price on them has gone way high.
Oh, wow.
It's
I know.
insane.
Yeah, we buy boots for, well, everybody in our family wears boots, but like even for the kids, I used to be able to get a pair of name brand boots. I always buy them name brand on cowboy boots because my kids wear them. Summer, it does not matter. They wear their boots year round. And if I buy cheap ones, they wear out and I'm buying multiple pairs. So I always buy the real ones. And I used to be able to get them for probably somewhere around $40 or $50. And now they're like $85, $95 for a pair of boots for Scout, my 5-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah.
I mean, you go, and this goes to the trends as well. Used to, nobody wanted to wear Wranglers. No, you know, it was actually people working wearing Wranglers, wearing boots, all this stuff. Now it's such a fad and a trend. I used to be able to buy Wranglers for about $20, $30. The other day I went because I lost weight and I needed new jeans. My Wranglers that I bought were $67.
Yeah. Levi's are 85 now. Bill
Is
hates
that
Levi the company, but he loves how they fit. And I was like, $85 for a pair of jeans?
yes?
Wow.
Yeah.
I was
Well,
like, what? It is so expensive to be a redneck.
yeah. Yeah. Why?
Who knew we'd be so cool, right?
I'm like, what? What in the? I'm gonna have to start. Well, you go to Walmart. You go to Walmart, and even what the Lee or whatever, they're still like $30, $40 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of went off on a tangent there, didn't we?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
anyway, well, but we can take it back.
We can.
It all goes back to the inflation and the price. You look at the price that it's taken farmers to do anything on their farm, putting up fencing, getting the posts, the fence, anything like that costs you a shit ton of money now. Your infrastructure. I mean, Amanda's about to build a house. You know, how much did would your house had costed, say, 10 years ago compared to what it costs now? It's the building materials. Everything is so put forth. The price of fuel, the price of fertilizer, everything, you know, and we're being bombarded and limited on our what we get back versus what our put in is. And it is a struggle. And no wonder everybody's fucking pissed.
Yeah. Well, and I think that when you see things like the protests in Europe and think about how realistic it could be for, you know, American farmers to be facing those same things. I know I have said this before also, but I feel like the start of this year, I have seriously felt a huge like pull to just be prepared for whatever may be coming. I don't know if you all have felt it, but I have felt like, okay, we truly need to have our ducks in a row for what may be coming because I don't know. I don't know if we're getting ready for some Hunger Games or what
It's looking more real, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm just like, you know, we're out here in the middle of nowhere where getting things could be a little more challenging. But I really feel like and Kellen's on this, he's on board. Like we need to get this figured out. And I hope that out of all of this, maybe we can just encourage people to really kind of look around and be more aware of what's going on in our country, but also world events to just
Yeah.
not to be afraid or to feel like, oh my God, I need to go and hide under a rock, but just to kind of have an idea of what's going on in the world and how we can adjust our homes, our businesses, our farms, and, you know, what kinds of things we need to kind of just be taking inventory on or evaluating, having better business plans or marketing like you've been working on, Laura, like what kinds of things can we do to kind of brace ourselves and prepare for the impact of all these things going on?
Well, another thing that I realized too, and we've talked about this before, there has been an uptick in more people than we know about that are living a self-sustaining life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're all very quiet about it though.
We are.
Don't need to tell all you know.
which is a whole nother, which could be a whole nother conversation on why we're quiet about it, you know.
Yeah.
But I look at it and I'm like, okay, you know, you wonder, could this happen in the United States? Will it it's going to happen in some form, whether it be agriculture, civil, it doesn't matter. Something's going to happen. I do believe that.
Yeah.
But you look at, you know, I wonder, like, would we come together as a community? I really believe so, because I believe there are way more people out there that are living self-sustaining lives. There's an uptick of people that are disgusted and trying to do things on their own. I believe that if we all did gather together, it would be something so beyond what we could comprehend, because there's more of us than what we think.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you seen the thing too? I can't remember what the exact number is, but it's either like if you have a group of it's either 100 or 200 people that kind of like create a community, you can create your own laws and stuff for your community. Have you seen anything about this?
No, that's interesting.
It's like with a small town slash village slash community type thing. It's a certain number of people. And I'm like, how cool would that be if you could get like a concentrated, I mean, not concentrated, but like if you could get a group of people together like that and just say, okay, this is our new little community. I mean, if you think about groups of people, like for instance, the Amish or Mennonites or you know, things like that, where they have their own little community, they've got their own laws within their community. I don't know. It's can we not have
So we're going to form a cult.
Yeah. No, not a cult. No.
No, thank you.
I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. No.
No. Well, hey, I think maybe we have next week's podcast subject. We'll play What If.
Yeah. What could it be like, you know?
Yeah. So what we need to do is we need to come up with the most bizarre what ifs that we actually truly believe in, and we're too scared to say them. Right? So we'll come up with a bunch of hypotheticals. Hypothetically.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. No, I just, I honestly, I know we went all over the place today, but I think we went all over the place today because it really triggered in my brain all the strings, man, all the strings.
Yep, there
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
Even though we went all over, it was all connected. And just
Yeah.
like you said, I feel like when you see something like that, it really does. It's like rapid fire, like boom, 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 boom. Like all these things are connected, and here's where my mind's going, you know?
Yeah. But, you know, and at the end of the day, it all comes down to, it really does come down to the control of us and our lives. You know, our food, it's not just in the United States. Our food is being controlled. Our power grid is being controlled. It's all of these things, you know, and it all connects to everything. I mean, it even connected to fucking Wranglers. You know what I mean? So, but I think it was a beautiful thing, but at the same time, it really should open up people's eyes, you know, to honestly see there is a struggle going on.
Hmm.
Yeah.
A big one.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
Well, let's bring our top two worst case scenarios and what happens next week.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm coming out with the hypotheticals.
Hypotheticals.
all right.
We can do it.
All right. Well, is piss poor in the rain now. It's like so bad.
It's awful here.
Oh God. Anyways, well, I love speaking to you guys. I thought today was, I mean, my brain's just going to be racking. You know, it has been since I saw it. But anyways, how about y'all go feed them damn hogs and them churros?
All right then. Bye, y'all.
I love you. See ya.
Love you. See ya.